Known him for probably what, 6, 7 years now?
Yeah, since 2014, something like that. I know. Thank you. Thank you for holding
One
it.
of the guys that I really cared about being here with. I mean, everybody's nice, but, you know,
Record, because I forgot to put this recorded. So you got to definitely have a thick skin in this industry, okay? You're going to get the good, you're going to get the bad, and you're going to get the ugly in our industry. But it's knowing to know how to have a thick skin in this industry, right, Ron? Say yes, please.
thick skin,
Thick skin, yes.
100%.
So, the transparency in our ability to know how to navigate these transactions is crucial. Either you close the deal or you don't close the deal. You navigate the deal or you don't navigate the deal, okay? But one or the other is selling each other, okay? That's where negotiation comes into play, okay? Are you a good salesperson? Okay, are you good at converting? Are you good at negotiating terms, price, and conditions? Are you good at, taking the fear of the buyer? The buyer's remorse that we always hear. They're excited, they're all jiggly, happy, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if I can afford the payments. I don't know this taxes. I don't know this location. I don't know if I want this property. How do you navigate those conversations to ultimately make it a win-win? Now, with negotiations, folks, it's a very simple concept. It's not that you strong arm the other component, the other agent. It's a balance. It's like a dance, okay? Meaning it's a win for all. That's what makes phenomenal, successful agents do what they do, close transactions. Here's the bottom line. We see a lot of agents ultimately jeopardize their own transactions. Why? Because they get their emotions in the way, and their emotions and ego gets the best of them. And unfortunately, they kill their own deal. It's sometimes not the buyer or the seller. It's the individual agent that ultimately kills the deal. Shame on them, okay? Because the ego gets the best of them. And I'm only being very transparent with you because I want you to look at it from a different perspective, okay? All of you will eventually be seasoned agents if you're not already, okay? I don't know the level of experience. I only know a couple people, but again, you know where you stand. I got, pioneers in this industry that have 25 years. You're looking at one. I got 24. Ron, how many years do you have in this industry?
Got my broker's license in 1991.
91. Okay, so that puts you about 28 years, give or take. 20-year-old veteran right here, licensed broker, phenomenal individual. Respect this man in my training room, and he's here to learn, okay? Now, a lot of the stuff that I'll be talking to you in the next 45 minutes may be, pertinent or some nuggets that you pick up. Not everything that any of the instructors, will, resonate with you, but that one thing that says, you know what, that's what I picked up, then it's made my day and it should make your day. Remember, we have to be self-motivated consistently every single day, self-motivated. It's hard. It's hard just getting up in the morning, showing up. I always talk to the agents, say, get up, dress up, and show up. Get up, dress up, and show up. Why? Because this is an industry that unfortunately is not a 9 to 5. It's not a Monday to Friday. It's not like you have 1 hour lunch, 15-minute breaks, okay? This doesn't provide you with the French benefits, health insurance, retirement, 401k. You're a business owner. You have to pour into your own health, your own retirement pension plan, and understand the dynamics on how to run a very well-oiled machine. And this is where the implementations, classes, and educational platforms, and some of the top agents in our industry are teaching us. There's constant classes on a regular basis. My classes, other team leader classes, regional classes, international classes, even worldwide classes as well. That is the cool thing. Now, pandemic has definitely taught us a lesson. Last year, it did for me in my market center here in Torrance. It definitely gave me a different perspective in how I see things. You know, now we're remotely having training online, you know. Now, just like Nika, she's in Calabasas area, you know, and the cool thing is we can still interact, we can still engage in conversation via Zoom. That is the coolest thing. And thank goodness that I invested last year in Zoom stock, because it just went sky high because everyone was getting into Zoom, you know, and I think to this day, I'm still getting tons of profit from Zoom, you know. So again, understand the dynamics of your position. Negotiation is a must, okay? Well, Simon, how do I negotiate? Well, it takes finesse, it takes dedication, it takes a lot of transactions to eventually get to the level. You're not going to know this from the very beginning, but here's one thing I can tell you that negotiation is your finesse. It's your charismatic way, okay? And it's not about knowing, okay? And this is one of the things that really agitate me about agents. Well, Simon, I've been in this industry for 25 years. Okay, good for you. You want a medal? Do you want a ring? What can I give you for being in this industry for 25 years, okay? Because I know that there's agents that get into this industry and they're hungry. They're motivated. They see the big picture and they want to make a lot of money in this industry. And the cool thing is that real estate is the platform that can allow you to make substantial amount of money, okay? I know that because I've been blessed with it. My counterpart here, Ron Riggs, you know, has invested in multiple investments, and he does well. He literally can, and I hope he doesn't hear me, he can literally go on vacation any given time because he set the tone right from the very beginning to invest in real estate. Now, with everything that I'm going to mention to you in the next now 40 minutes, you know, I'm counting down the minutes here for you because I know and I want to respect your time. I also want you to look at two different elements of what we call passive income or stream of incomes or cash flow. Because when you become a very successful entrepreneur, that all of you on the call and here in the training room, is knowing again that you are a businesswoman, businessman, okay? Act like it, be like it, and do like it, okay? You got to be all of that. Because when you start really looking at it from that perspective, you start respecting the industry. And this industry, I hate to say it, you know, it's simple, but not easy. It's simple, but not easy. Write that down, put it somewhere in your head or put it on your phone. Real estate is simple, but not easy, okay? And more so, there's gonna be some agents that will do great. And there's some agents that will do good. And there's some agents that will do okay. And there's agents that will do nothing, okay? What category are you in? Are you that mega agent that is crushing it, making a 6-figure income or a 7-figure income? Or are you that agent that procrastinates on a daily basis? Well, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, that's not working, that system is not working, there is no buyers, low inventory, not enough homes out there, okay? Stop. There is plenty of business out there. In the 24 years, guess what? There's been real estate and there will continue to be more real estate. People will still need to buy and people will still need to sell. Unfortunately, that's the cycle. Now, the question here is, where do you fit? Do you ride that wave? Do you ride that wave? You may have to put your thing on because it's going to echo on mute. If you ride that wave, then it doesn't matter what the market dictates. If the market is up, if the market is down, if the market is stabilized, just mute it.
I'm going to. Sorry.
Okay, you can do it on Zoom. We hear echo. I don't want to hear myself talk double. It's like, hello, 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 hello. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? And the phenomenal thing about, you know, real estate is, yes, you can set the tone. You can set how you want this to portray. And the cool thing is that you can do whatever you want, income-wise. Okay, the sky is not the limit. Okay, you always hear sky is the limit. No, the sky is not the limit. You can go and surpass the sky. The cool thing is, as I mentioned, we have agents that make a 6-figure income, and then we have agents that make a 7-figure income. And then how do you double up, triple up? Okay, is knowing how to leverage yourself, knowing the dynamics of, when you become a very good agent, how do you now start investing in real estate, either buying, selling, holding, flipping? Okay, those are all great platforms. And anyone on this call and in the classroom can achieve, and it's very tangible if you devote the time, effort, and energy. Okay, it's there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is made there. It's just follow the roadmap. Okay, follow the roadmap. But here's the number 3 of the 2 other components. I said learn contracts, learn negotiations, and then finally learn objection handlers. Okay, well, all the first and the second are great and dandy, but if a seller tells you this, the buyer tells you that, how do you handle that? How do you navigate that conversation? You can't guess, right? Guessing is going to put you in liability. And I've seen it firsthand because I run a big company. I understand the dynamics of it, the liability, right? Because we're talking big money, big numbers, okay? So you got to know how to have those conversations with sellers and buyers and investors. This is why it's important that you should 15, 30 minutes, 3 times out of the week, be practicing your scripts, practicing role playing. Why? Athletes, prime example, right? Athletes don't just work out one day and win marathons, win basketball championships, football, soccer, golf. They're constantly practicing their craft. Why is it that real estate agents believe, in their own opinion, they believe that I don't need to practice. I don't need to role play. I don't need to know scripts and dialogue. The problem is, this is why they're not championship agents. Now, do you want to get the gold medal or do you want to get the silver medal? It's up to you. Or do you want to get none? It's up to you. I can't stop you. I can't control you, right? No team leader, no broker, no office can force you to do anything. But we can give you the models and systems in place to really generate the big picture. And this is why it's very important to get plugged into stuff like this, okay? Today's topic is just really from the one thing, okay? And I'm gonna show you the book. Here it is, okay? This is the book that we're talking about, The One Thing, okay? So everything that I'm preaching and talking to you is stuff that I pulled from the book. Now, a lot of the stuff is in my head, but the elements and the components resonates and was pulled from The One Thing. It's a great book. It's written by Jay Papasan and Gary Keller. And this is one of many books that you should be utilizing for the benefit to grow your mind, expand your mind, think different, act different, and be different in many different senses. But the book really defines in your position and how you can be extraordinarily successful in anything you put your mind to do, okay? Anything you put your mind to do. But you also got to be true to yourself. You got to be true to yourself. The simple path to production, right? If it's an agent that's just starting in the industry, where do we start? Where do we go? Okay, we have to have a structure. And the cool thing is that Keller Williams has a structure base to get you going, okay? Some of the agents that get their real estate license immediately start seeing results. Now, I don't know who I heard it from, but I heard it from some very successful billionaire. I think your mindset equals action. Your mindset equals action. Think about that. Okay, whatever you put into your mind, you got to take the action for it, okay? Because here's the big picture, and I'm going to be very transparent with all of you on the call and in my classroom, okay? And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. We are not promised tomorrow, okay? We are not promised tomorrow, okay? So whatever you do, do it to the fullest. Be happy, enjoy life, because you're never promised tomorrow. A couple years back, one of my phenomenal mentors here in my office, who was a successful real estate agent and part of a family team, passed away. And we would have deep conversations, not even business, not even real estate related. It was just family life. And the gentleman in question was, I think, 40 years older than me at the time. But I picked up so many valuable ideas from him because he was a pioneer. Pull out. He was a pioneer in the industry. He started in the 80s. So he knew the old grunt work of rolling up your sleeves and doing the necessary action. And unfortunately, he went to bed one evening and he never woke up. He went to bed, kissed his wife, never woke up. Okay. And when I got the tragic news, I was like in total disbelief and shocked. My mentor that I knew for many years, and it wasn't that he was my mentor. It was that I was his mentor, because he would come into my office and would say, Simon, I need your advice. I need some guidance. I need some understanding. And this is a gentleman that had been in the industry way longer than I had, but he would come for advice and guidance. And he gave me a plaque just before he passed away. He gave me a plaque, and I still to this day, I have it. And it has, I get a little bit of emotions when I talk about it because, he hit it in the nail in so many things that we talked about. But he had all these words, and he said, and I can't verbatim remember exactly what he said, but he had all these words that he says, this is what I think of you: leader, champion, extraordinary, strong, great negotiator. And at the time, before I even got this plaque, I didn't know I had all that qualities, but one person believed in what I had. And when he provided that for me, because he was going to retire, that year he was going to retire, leave it to his son to run the business and the team, and he was going to move to Palm Springs, sell, his primary homes. All of his investments were still going to be being rented in the cash flow, but they were going to buy a place out in Palm Springs. And darn it, he's no longer with me. So, you can look at it from many different variables. He obviously died a very peaceful way. I think all of us would love to pass away and, just go to bed, right, and not wake up. But in all honesty and in all sincerity, he was such a phenomenal human being, and I miss him very dearly. And Ron, you know who I'm talking about.
Who's that?
Al Againa's father, Larry Againa. Yeah. So, when I heard the news, it just like hit the core. It's like, wow, you know what? Life is precious. We're not promised tomorrow. And that just made me really think about life in general. Be happy. My father would be the first one to tell me. Every time we would have conversation, and he lives out of the country, he would say, at the end, you know, mijo, be happy, means son, be happy. And to this day, you know, I'll talk to people and it says, you know, just be happy. All right, be happy. And I don't know why I say it. I just say it because it was embedded in me, literally embedded in me to be happy, because life is too short. And before you know it, we will be gone. Okay. So whatever your legacy is, guys, whatever you want to leave behind, do it at a 10x mindset. Okay. You have the ability to do so if you take the right mindset and action. Okay. It's like a movie, right? What do they say? Action. Let's get it. Let's do this. So that's the same mentality that you should have in sales. Okay. And that's why it's very, very important, folks, to understand your role as a professional, your role as an entrepreneur, your role as a CEO of real estate. Okay. Because knowing the three elements of the infrastructure of your real estate career starts with contracts, negotiations, and objection handlers. All the other stuff comes later, okay? Not saying it's not part of it, it is, but if you know those three elements, then you're gonna be fine, you're gonna do well, okay? But again, I can't wake you up in the morning, I can't drag you out of bed, I can't say, hey, get up, you gotta be here at the office at 8 o'clock, okay? You have to have the momentum, the motivation, and really to inspire your own self, okay? Real estate is unique in itself, okay? And the ability to get into this industry is because you're self-motivated. People that get their real estate license don't get it just because they want to have a real estate license. They have a drive. They have a vision. They're self-motivated. They start their engines every single day. And that's what I want you to understand. And this is why the book, The One Thing, is one of the elements and books of arsenal that you need to have in your tool chest. Most of you know that I'm a former police officer with the LA County Sheriff's Department, okay? And the reason I'm throwing this, you know, not to brag and not to say, you know, hey, no, that's not my intentions. But, you know, that was my dream of being a cop. I wanted to get into law enforcement. Unfortunately, due to an injury while working up in the high desert, altered my position to go in a different direction. Otherwise, I would have retired as a homicide detective. I wanted to see dead bodies. But you know what? Mom says it best. Mom says it best. You know, mijo, you know, it was meant to be, you know, with everything that's going on in this world, you know, maybe it was a good thing. You know, for the longest time, I was depressed. I just couldn't understand why me? But now, as I'm an older man, now I realize I wisen up more. I understand life a little bit more. But as a young guy, I didn't understand the elements of it. But you know, I utilize a lot of the tactics and training that I got to help my agents here. I'm not perfect, guys. Okay, I'm far from being perfect. I make mistakes. I make errors. I don't know everything, but one thing that I do have a passion for is in my heart is to help one way or another. If it's in the working hours, outside of working hours, you know, that's always been my passion and I love it. You know, that's why I think I got into law enforcement, because I wanted to help people. And I do this to this day because I have a passion. But I understand the dynamics too. And this is why you have to have that mindset to know of multiple streams of income, avenues of positive, positive cash flow, but more so passive income. And how do you get to that level of passive income? When you become a very good agent, you're really polished in your approach, you do more sales, you make great money, and you invest. You invest in yourself. Okay, that's where you see the success. Now, The One Thing, as I mentioned, has a lot of different practical principles in it. And again, I highly recommend it. If you don't have this copy, get the copy. Okay. Life has to be a purpose. Life has to be a purpose. Life has to have priorities. Life has to, unfortunately, also include productivity. Okay, there has to be momentum. Now I'm going to check myself here too, because I have kind of let myself down. And I know that I've let myself down. And again, just keeping it real, being transparent with everyone on the call, because that's who I am. That's who I am. And one of my agents, you know, constantly reaches out to me and says, hey, did you go for a walk? Hey, what exercise are you doing? Now I'm a little on the heavy side these last couple of years, and I'm first to admit I'm not happy because
A little.
Okay, a lot. No, it was hope.
Hope?
Hope,
Oh,
hope. Thank you, Hope. Now I'm definitely gonna go back into shape.
Just
Well, you can
kidding,
only
just
see from the
kidding.
chest up. You can't.
I know, right?
I'm hiding myself.
Well, I see you on Mondays.
Yeah, the face. I got a chubby face. I just put I'm blushing right now and I'm sweating. Oh boy, oh boy. But hey, you know what? I'd rather do it in front of people who will hold me accountable than to hold myself accountable, because I got myself like this because of me, not because of any of you on the call.
See, that's
So
how I feel about real estate.
Yeah,
See,
I
I'm
get
up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym 6 days a week. See,
love
so I could do that. I got to flip it on the other side now.
yeah, I love it. Thank you, Nika. Thank you for the transparency and just keeping it real. Yeah, no, I know. I started with the company in great shape, you know, was thin, flat stomach, you know, and it was just, I felt really good. But now it's like these last couple of years, it's like, man, you know, that's not who I am. And I see myself in the mirror and I don't like what I see. But here's again, the transparency, you know, I'm telling you, I'm not perfect. Okay, I'm not perfect. And anyone that tells you that they're perfect and they have everything is probably not telling you the truth. So, you know, I take ownership to it. And I know because my doctor tells me, my family tells me, my colleagues tell me, gosh, Ron Riggs on the call tells me constantly. He's the one that constantly checks with me and says, Simon, did you go for your walk? Okay, we're going to go for a walk. We're going to hit the canyons. We're going to do. Yes. I know. So, Ron, thank you. Thank you for, you know, just being who you are, my man. Thank you. All right. So the purpose, the priority, the productivity, and the commitment too, guys, the commitment that you have to have for yourself. Now, I said earlier, real estate is simple, but not easy, right? I say that, and it is, because there's some that have a very systematic in their business. They're closing deals left and right. And then there's some that are struggling and not making and connecting those dots. Something is off. And that's where, you know, leadership comes in to try to find out what those gaps are. It may be that, you know, you got to practice your scripts. Maybe we need to role play. Maybe we need to understand objection handlers. Maybe we have to make more calls. Maybe we need to hit our database. Maybe we need to have more conversations with more people. Maybe we need to hit our farm heavy, hit our farm heavy, or heavier, I should say. You know, whatever it is, you know, people will not know you're in this industry only when you're out there promoting yourself. That's when you start seeing results. That's when you start seeing momentum. Does any of this stuff make any sense? Does this resonate with anyone? Anyone want to share any thoughts, or am I just rumbling and talking to myself?
Simon, I think I just would like to say that, you know, while it might seem like you're rambling, you're hitting on some points that really are driving home you know, I'm getting back into the swing of things, and it's a wonderful reminder. I'm actually, is it this book? No, I think no, we're reading this book right now in another book club that I'm in, and which is excellent. So thank you. And the biggest thing is that you're sharing your experience with us. And it's something that I needed to know. You're pinpointing on things that I really need to focus on, because even though it's a very simple book to read and it helps me focus a bit better, you are helping with real life situations to be able to help us focus on what is truly important. And it's not just real estate related, it's other parts of your life. And focusing on that one thing, the 3 Ps, the priorities, the things, the contracts and negotiations, and the objection handlers. It's helping me map out my week on the things that I need to focus on, because like you said, there is just so much that could be, I feel like a squirrel sometimes. Oh, I've got to, reminder media, I got to get on that. And oh my God, KW command, I got to get on that, and it's just, there's a lot. And I just got off of the REMI, and things focus on that. So
Yeah.
This is a really good conversation to have at this time for me. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing. And, letting us all know, again, and looking at the big picture, we have to be self-motivated. No one is going to do it for us. And now as we're adults, we have responsibilities, right? We have obligations. If it's for you as an individual or for a family, we have to take ownership to that. And, the whole purpose of today's topic is to have those extraordinary results, unlocking, the possibilities within you. It starts with you, okay? The tools are all there, right? Everything that Keller Williams provides is there, but it has to start within you. And that's when you start seeing the end results and, opportunities come your way. Why is it that the most successful people in this industry do really, really well? Because they have systems and they have a plan, and they hold themselves accountable on a regular basis. I mean, I love that. Now, one thing it says here on the book is be like a post stamp. Stick to one thing until you get there. I love that. Be like a post stamp. Stick to one thing until you get there. Doesn't that resonate? That resonates to me, right? Because for the longest time, I know what I need to focus on, and there's things that I am not perfect, and I'm trying to enhance those imperfections. But think about it. If you were a stamp, right? You stick to that stamp and you finish it until you get to your destination. Then you stick another stamp and get to your next destination, which is your next project, your next goal. This is why real estate is the coolest thing, is because we set goals and expectations every year, right? Anything and everything that you start doing today, ladies and gentlemen, will resonate for 2022, because we don't see immediate results from prospecting, from cold calling, from passing out flyers, from open houses. It takes time, but what you do today will end up in the future. So when agents start slowing down, right? Month of October, Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, Christmas, in December, and then New Year's, now let's get back in the rhythm of things and get back into action. And now we're setting goals and expectations. That's not the way you should be driving your business. What you should be doing it is right now. Today is your new year. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now you need to be implementing your goals and your expectations. And right now, I'm not saying to go 100 miles if you haven't hit your goals this year, but stay consistent, okay? And that's a very, very important word, a very powerful word. Why? Think of a marathon runner, okay? A marathon runner. They have to run 26.6 miles in order to get to the finish line. And for the most part, they do it in 2.5 hours. That's very impressive. A human body can jog for 20.6 miles in 2.5 hours. That's like a little moped. You know, it's the motor in ourselves to be able to stay consistent. Now, you know, the elite of the elite marathon athletes, you know, have a consistent pace to get there. They stay at a pace that they know that their heart rate is low, but their momentum is striving to continue at that pace. Because if they slow down, someone will catch up to them. If they slow down even more people will pass them. But how do you stay amongst the pack, and ultimately, as you get closer to the finish line, have that ability to thrust to the finish and complete it and be number one? It takes dedication. It takes hard work. It takes, you know, conditioning, right? Well, real estate is the same thing, ladies and gentlemen, no difference if you really think about it. And that's why, you know, when I'm talking to our agents right now, I tell them, you know, don't stop. If you haven't hit your goals, don't stop. If you hit your goals, don't stop. Okay, just continue, but stay at a comfortable pace. Get through the end of the year, because everything that you do will show up in 2022. And the cool thing about that is now you're not stressing from all the expenses of Christmas that you poured in and all your obligations. You at least have cash flow, income coming in January, February, and March. Don't be that one agent that doesn't do anything for 4 months and says, I'm gonna check out. It's the holidays. I'm gonna use the holidays as an excuse. Instead, utilize it in a powerful way to say, you know what, I'm not gonna go 100 miles because I'm gonna burn myself up, but I'm gonna stay consistent at a very slow, consistent pace that I'll close several deals, and then all those that don't close will revert to the following month, and those will fall into January. And that's what we need to see more and more agents, because I know I've seen from the market center that January comes, and I preach it all the time, and I still have agents that are struggling because they're not taking the action and staying on track, staying consistent and staying in their lane. Okay, so think about that, the importance. But I like this statement here: be like a post stamp, be like a stamp, stick to one thing until you get there. Any thoughts? Also, the book talks about the domino effect, right? If you read the book, it also talks about the domino effect. Every great change starts like a falling domino, all right? And you can see there was, I don't know what commercial that I saw, but you can even go into YouTube and you can just type in domino effect, and you'll see some extraordinary videos that it starts with a tiny little teeny weeny little domino, and how the ripple effect of that domino hits the one bigger. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's on page 13. But that little one eventually hits one bigger. That one hits one a little bigger. That one hits a little one bigger than that. Eventually can take on a huge domino. Huge. 100 times the size and 100 times the weight, because of the ripple effect. And that's what the book talks about is, you know, the energy, right? The energy that we pour into it. It's like, you know, have you ever had a hot flash, right? Where you're all of a sudden, and I'm a hot-blooded person. I'm always hot. I'm sweating right now, you know, but it's just because my body is just attuned to that. And I'm constantly, I have to have the AC at the house 24/7. I have it on I was going to say cruise control, but I have it on temperature control. And just because I'd rather pay for comfort and convenience, if that makes sense. And I'm willing to pay that. You know, before I was like, oh, I don't want to spend, you know, too much on an electrical bill. But now it's like, you know, I need convenience and I need comfort. But in order for me to have convenience and comfort, you also have to understand that you gotta dedicate in order to bring the income to make things, happen for you, whatever it is, maybe paying off your debt, your student loans, um, putting money away in savings, saving up for a down payment, buying a second investment or a vacation home, going on an exotic vacation. Maybe you've been wanting to go on a vacation and this is one dream vacation you want. The cool thing about our industry is it can happen. I have several pilots and several flight attendants in my office, and I'm so passionate because I wanted to be in aviation. That was my number one dream, guys. I wanted to be a pilot before being in law enforcement. I had no reason to. I didn't want to get into real estate. It was just, and that's another story that I'll share at another time. But real estate was not what I really wanted to get into. That was not my thing. But ultimately, this is where I landed, and I love it. But aviation has always been my passion to this day. I ended up going, ridiculously, as you may think. I'm a 40-year-old man. I went and bought the Xbox because they just came out with the flight simulator. Being real, guys, I'm not a gamer. I don't play games, but you know what? I'm so passionate with flight. And when I saw the preview of Flight Simulator for Xbox, I was like taken back. It's like, I get to fly a 747. I get to fly a Gulfstream, a Citation, anywhere in the world. And that game is pretty impressive. Why? For the convenience. I need to debrief, de-stress myself. And for me, that's one of the things. Yes, I know, Hope, thank you very much. I got to also go work out and exercise. I got to put that in my bucket list too. But in all sincerity, guys, whatever it is that helps you de-stress yourself, because real estate can also be very stressful. I know it, I see it, I sense it. I didn't get all this gray hair from looking pretty. It's, real estate has a lot to do with it. Right, Ron?
Yes, sir.
So, find that one thing that you have a passion. And, for all of us, that passion can be many things, many things. But you also have to take time off for yourself and do for yourself. All right. It's something that you must do, because you cannot go 24/7. Also, the domino effects, can tear down anything, and on the pages, it talks about the domino geometric progress or progression. From one domino it can knock down the what is that one? The Tower of Pisa? Is that, am I saying it correctly? It's in Europe. The one that's bent a little bit. That one,
Leaning Tower.
the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Thank you. And that Leaning Tower of Pisa can take down the Paris Tower. What is it called? The Eiffel Tower. Thank you. And then that can ultimately take down Mount Everest. It goes through the motions. But you get my point. You get my understanding. It starts small, guys. You don't got to be at the top of the game and think, oh, I got to have all these systems, all this, have that perfect glamour shot, lose the weight. I have to have these flyers. I have to have these campaigns. No. You're working backwards. Work more efficient and do the small things to get you to where you're able to do the things that, you can implement. Because the more that your business requires of you, the more systems and the more delegations you're going to need to do as well. Okay, because there's going to be eventually a time where 25 open escrows, you're not going to be able to handle yourself. As you're still facilitating those escrows, you still got to lead generate for new business, because out of those 25, the conversions of those, 5% of those falling out of escrow, you want to have a flow and a consistent. And we have agents here that have, those mega results and have open escrows, but they also have systems and they also have assistants that help them through those transactions. So when you get to that level, that's a great problem to have, right? when you have so much transaction, now you got to start thinking, how do I leverage myself and utilize a more effective approach to close the deals, but also still generate new business for me and my family. Okay. The lies that mislead and the derailment of our lives, you know, and the book really defines and talks a lot about, you know, certain elements of our position. Do we procrastinate? Yes. Do we make excuses? Yes. Do we have challenges? Yes. Do we have walls? Absolutely. But it's knowing how to navigate through that. You know, it's no difference than a plane building altitude to get to the level where they can fly and then eventually get to its destination, right? They're not going to be flying at 5,000 feet because there's obstacles out there, mountains for one, buildings out there that are too close for comfort, and that can be a very disastrous position. So they have to fly at an altitude that is safe, and you know that there's not a lot of turbulence, you know, and usually the higher you go, the better. Sometimes you got to come down a little bit. The average altitude for a huge plane is what, 35,000 feet, Cecilia?
Oh, 35 to 50.
35 to 50. I have one of my phenomenal agents in the training room who's a flight attendant, you know, and, you know, I don't know how she does it, but she does it. She has her regular career and still does dynamic real estate, you know, and that's, again, balance, right? You have to know how to balance. But it's so right, you know, the altitude will set, you know, the tone, and how when you get to the level of your business is now from a destination that you can hover and see everything. Your business, where your buyers are coming from, how many buyers you have pending, how many buyers are in escrow, how many sellers do you have floating right now to commit to listing their homes, how many of the sellers do you have in escrow, how many you have listed but haven't got any offers. Then the negotiations aspect of it, all those elements is like the hub. It's like the instrument panel of a plane, right? It tells you all the calculations, how fast, how high, your pitch, your fuel, your power, your balance. All those elements are very important. Well, your business should also be like that. When you run a very tight, balanced business, then you're going to see more closed transactions because you have control, right? And I know, and I talk a lot about aviation or law enforcement, is because that's something that I can resonate, you know, or maybe the ladies is like, Simon, what are you talking about? I used to talk a lot about vehicles and cars. And the woman's like, can we talk about something else? I go, I don't know anything about else but cars. So I've kind of changed it up, you know, a little bit. But again, you know, when you're flying a huge plane, you know, you usually have a co-pilot, a first officer, and a captain who's in charge of the plane. And either or can take what is called pilot in command, meaning, what do they call it? PIC, pilot in command, meaning either the captain takes control or the first officer takes control of the plane. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on this call and in here, you are the captain of your real estate organization. You are, that's you, okay? How you navigate that is really up to you. Okay, you want to go high, you can go high. You want to go low, you can go low. But remember, the lower you go, the obstacles you're going to face and challenge. The higher you are, the more provisional, is that how you say it? View. It's like an eagle eye, right? You're able to see things in broader and bigger, and you'll have a better perspective. Okay, I know where my destination is. You know, these are my goals. I want to focus on closing more sellers this month. I want to close more buyers this month. I want to put 8 buyers and sellers into escrow this month, and then having a consistent base on that. If you're not having communications with your team leader or your coach, you know, what are your numbers? You know, we talk about numbers on a give and take. Okay, we talk about it because we want to hold our agents accountable. If you say you're going to do 20 units, 20 million in volume, 200,000 in gross GCI, then you got to hold yourself accountable, or your coach needs to help you, or your team leader needs to help you, whatever it takes. But you also have to take yourself and hold yourself accountable as well, because again, no one is going to pull you. You got to pull yourself. Okay. Just like a plane that is ready to taxi out of the airport, sometimes it needs a vehicle to push them out to the area where now he can get ready to taxi off, get into the landing, the path where the plane is going to take off, and then eventually full thrust, elevation, speed, and eventually it's up in the air. So with that, I'll leave it, just as a reminder. And, I just hope that in the last hour that we spent, that I was able to provide you with some, just again, remember what I said earlier. A lot of the stuff that I say is mumbo jumbo, probably in your head, but if you picked up one thing that resonates, you run with it, and then you build momentum from that. Okay. So with that being said, I want to respect your time. It is 3 o'clock, and I appreciate you all for being on the call and also in the class. Any thoughts, any questions, anything I can address before we sign off?
This was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Appreciate you. I'll see you on Monday.
I see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? All
Thank you,
right.
sir. Thank you, Simon. Really
Thank-
appreciate it. Gives me something to focus on for this coming week.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, team. Well, have a phenomenal afternoon, a great weekend, and let's go make some money. Take care.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you,
Hey,
Hope.
yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.